Well, here I am again. I don't know whether you'll even listen to me or not, but I'm here. I figure even if I'm in the doghouse, tape is better than no tape at all. So, well, see, they won't do it to me. I won't let them. They won't. Whew. I'm going to get this out if it kills me. Today is Friday, the 23rd. Yeah, Friday, the 23rd of April. No. And it's 8:30 at night our time here. And we're back on the line. And I'm a little out of touch because you have done so supremely well with your tapes, and I have done so poorly with mine that I unfortunately violated my own rule and didn't flip over your tapes as they were received and send you one back for various reasons, none of which you'd believe, so I'll not give them to you. But in each case, when I played your tapes, I, of course, made notes. And I have these notes in front of me, and I'm going to comment on them first, or not comment on them, but I'll review them with you briefly, and then I'll go into whatever it is that we're doing now that you might be interested in. Wait, one. Okay, I think I got myself in gear here. There were 3 tapes that you sent in astoundingly rapid succession. There was one that was initiated on Sunday the 14th of March and was concluded on the 21st of March. That was all on tape. And then there was another one which was done on Wednesday the 24th of March, which had Tom Frank in it. And then there was the third one, done on the 1st of April. And they were all wonderful things. I really enjoyed getting them, and you do so very well on it. Much better than you did when you first started the tape business. I think you're a tape artist, no question about it. So let me run down my little list for 14 March and 21 March, and we'll continue from there. Barn, Jody on Star, the Little Corral, and then the Big Ring, and then all of a sudden Star ran out. And for the second time, she fell off. And then I understand that John straightened Star out. Jody got back on again, but was scared, and John led her around the ring. And so all was well there. Well, that was really something. So, Joe, I'm glad you got back on again, and every now and then you will fall off horses, you know. That does happen, so don't be worried too much about that. Tommy, you mentioned that you took More Bonnet out in the boonies and had a nice trip riding all around. This was now way back in March, a long time ago. Pony with a sore neck. I don't know about, Pony with a sore neck. Oh, this is the one you found as you were driving around and reported to the SPCA. Well, I never heard any more about that, so I don't know what the status of that is. Next item was quarter horses. This was in connection with the overall topic of fleeing to the barn when things get too bad. 5th place was taken by Old Gus, who's a stud colt, one of Sally's horses. Duncan's filly in the trailer to the show. I guess this was the one in the Reedy or somewhere, California. temperament, intelligence of quarter horses. All the Parkhurst says you're the only normal one. I hope that isn't quarter horses she's talking about. Okay, then John got on and he talked about his day. He talked about a black box. I don't know what that was. Black box. And come home safely, which I'm going to do. Got a canteen from Surplus City, and I did, John, hear the neat sound that the water made when you shook it around in there. Gordon's got a new tractor. There was a horse show at Hickson's Stables. And John played with a stud colt. Do I have a camera? Was John's next question. Pictures of blowing up trucks. Well, I don't have a camera. Not a little portable one like you're familiar with, but I do have one that's mounted on the underside of the airplane, which we use to take in-flight pictures of the ground out there. Some of these, of course, are classified and you can't see them. But what I'm trying to do is to get you a picture of a destroyed truck to send to you. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do this or not, but I'll try to get it from the picture library here so you can see just what a blown up truck looks like. It won't be anything like you think it's going to be, John, because it isn't a picture taken like you were standing right up next to it. It's taken from very far away. And you can't really see very much, you know, at that distance, except that there's something down there that's destroyed. And then John went on to say that he lit a fire at the dump, the trash dump. He also talked about his first time on War Bonnet, where there were lots of good places to ride. He saw an old car body and engine when he rode. War Bonnet was fun to ride, but you gave him a bath when you came back and he rolled right away. Well, they do that too. New friends that you've got at school, you didn't mention any names, but I gather you had some new friends. And that the days were really rushing by and that you were doing better in math. Well, then Mommy got back on the tape here in March and she talked about insurance bills. All of which I've paid, by the way, plus the red bill, the one that said it was late. Well, that one was a foul-up or something, because the check was returned on that, as I mentioned in a recent letter to you. It was returned paid. So that's taken care of, and the other one's taken care of. The screen door, you said, cost about, oh, I guess it was in a later tape, it cost about $25. And you mentioned that Dad called. And then you found out what was wrong with the tape recorder, and it was dying on you because the battery went dead. Well, that makes sense. So you take the plug out and you plug it in when you're using it. And that way you'll keep the power pack up to speed. And if you don't plug it in and you let the power pack get low, then the power pack soon won't take a full charge anymore. The one I'm using here, for example, is plugged in, even though the power pack is up to speed. And that's the way to keep the power pack healthy. Got to plug it in, especially when you only use it every now and then. Get the nickel, cadmium, whatever it is in there. Takes 13 hours. Just leave it plugged in overnight one night. Pull it out the next morning, and then it'll be up to peak power. Then each time you use it, plug it in. Unless it's an absolute necessity not to. You won't have that problem. New bank allotment, I expect, is working out all right, though on the subsequent tape you mentioned that it went to Monterey instead. You talked about your church with the VA 212 banner. Hay fever, and you mentioned about Arlie coming up, and Billy Whitmore. Rumor of 55 and 212 going on, 164 decommissioning. Mary B's dinner, and Connie calls every now and then. Okay. We went on to the 24th of March, Wednesday, where you talked about complaining she didn't have enough tapes because you had to send mine back and you were running out. Well, go buy some new ones. They don't really cost that much, and for what remains of the cruise, why, one or two new ones I'm sure would keep you. I don't erase yours when you send them because I would play them every now and then, and I don't want to lose that. I'll try and finish up on this side of 45 minutes to give you the other side to come back on, but don't let that stop you. Go out and buy another one or so. They have them in the PX at the lower price. Okay, Wednesday the 24th of March, then you had Tom Frank on. Talked about 127 being 6 months more a rag, with 6 new students starting in April, requiring additional aircraft to support these new students, and the fact that he was painting his house. Okay, then back at home, you came on and you mentioned you didn't have the girls' parties because nobody was interested. And you had a party on the 13th anyway instead. Fine. War bonnet is not fat. Well, it's a matter of opinion. Maybe it was just his winter coat. Roof still loose, and not unattractive. Okay, at least we didn't nail those things in, so I can play around with it when I get home and see what maybe various ways of doing it are. That's the roof in the back underneath or over the fountain. You're right, North from Rome. It was not a very interesting book. Peach tree in bloom. Good. I imagine it's very pretty when it's in bloom. Then we talked about the Ranger pilot. And talked a little bit about John and some of his questions, which I will talk to him about in June. Doctor says thyroid, Dr. Schaeferly, garden shop at 99 cents. It's made in Japan. Oh yes, there aren't any good saws at $6. That you wanted to buy me a saw or something. I don't get any saws that are worth a damn for $6. Gene Teeter with his red TR, fine. The pool is 62 degrees, that's wonderful. Good to hear that you've back flushed it. The reason you get the dirt in there is because you don't turn the roof off when you back flush. You pump all that dirt up to the roof. So turn the roof off. It won't come back down on you. Screen door, call man, it's guaranteed. How much did it cost? Okay, you must have had a problem with the screen door. It wasn't working right or something. The guy says it's a guaranteed installation, see? So you call that little Chinese fella back and you say, hey, look, fix it. It's not working right. As if you're having a problem with the lock on the screen door. Then you mentioned briefly the Reedley Horse Show. Parsnips and hamburgers for dinner. Jody told me a story, which was not Jody's story, but Mrs. DeRuder's story, which was very well read, I thought. And Jody tells time and reads minds. Good heavens. John's tooth came out. Yes. And he's learned to crochet. Good. And my comment here was, yes, you are supposed to go to steak night with the Teeters. We've been only talking about that for 2 years. Do it. Don't wait for me to come home. Then your 1 April tape came, and I had to give them 10 cents down here in the post office because you only put 20 cents U.S. airmail on it, and it takes 30, dear. I don't mind paying 10 cents for your mail, but I don't walk around with change in my pocket in a flight suit normally, and so I had to borrow it. Which reminds me, I don't think I ever paid it back. And I still have that wrapper here, which has 10 cents postage due on it, so I'll put that away. $23 for the screen door. Okay. Told you I'd pay you for that, so I'll add that on to your $2.90 that I will send you at the end of this month to be used together with what you get at the first of next month to make next month's bill paying money. Then Estelle's article was mentioned. Republican Wives Luncheon at Mr. Jack Stone's house. His Dorfer and Company. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And you had a very fine description of the house. Talked about Lynn Burton's nice note about the blanket gift. I'm glad to hear that she sent you one. And on 2 April, you talked about a ride and the fact that the kids won't get up out of bed. And they won't, as long as you permit them not to. Gary Broderick and, oh yeah, Captain Westmoreland called about Gary Broderick getting hit. Yeah, he landed over in Thailand safely. The airplane's still there. We'll get back one of these days. Kids on tape, yes. Kids picking on Jody, bossy and self-centered, good heavens. Side, if you notice, Mary Inner weekend at Barn. Easter weekend at Barn, oh yes. Oh well. Leak in the back flush of the pool. That could well be. That plumbing is in need of new seals, I'm sure, and that's something I'll have to do when I get back. Sprinkling, skip-a-day problems. Well, I wouldn't play with that. You're going to bugger the whole thing up. Just turn the darn thing on and off when you want it. When you don't want it to be sprinkling, turn it off, the switch. Fertilize on the dull spots. Now uniformly green. Great. Raise the lawnmower up, by the way, will you? Because I had left it about 2 notches. It should be up to about 4 now, if it isn't already. Kids' allowances. We'll talk about that when I get back. Alicia. Problem with her new neighbor. She must flail less in a small town. I concur with that. You're pooped, not lose weight, trying to get skinny. And then, of course, your little card or something that came in here recently said you had lost 2 pounds, which is very nice. Duncan. Reedley Horse Show, 30 minutes, quarter horse show south of, 30 minutes away, I guess, south of Fresno. Well, 3-part grand champion mare again. 1 more point now. She's an American quarter horse champion. Very good. Dunk will keep and breed and ride and buy Glopar. Glopar. MC Colt. Whatever that means. Oh, well. Bush. Juniper bush. Yeah. Oh, by the way, did the tree we planted in the corner over there, did that, or they relocated, did that survive? I hope it did. That was a nice little tree. Your comments on the Cali thing, I think, were very nice and very well thought out and well spoken about the silent majority, the life imprisonment. Tilting at windmills. Country furious. End of an all-volunteer army, huh? Well, no great comments there. That whole case and that whole situation is still in the state of becoming. My letter you got, you said you were very pleased to get that. Very good. Not decommissioned. 2 June at Alameda. We'll go to Australia, but short turnaround. Not 22 May, but only magic carpet if short turnaround, yes. Pool, 65 degrees. Better supervise John. Don't just let him vacuum. Jody, a phrase, dig, headworm. Oh, come on now. It's wrong. What's the matter with it? Saturday or Friday. Cynthia and the kids for dinner. Very good. Very good. Sally, too. And you had an eye accident with a burn on your eyeball. Sally came over and stayed till 11. Divorce not final. Mailing sex book. Got sex book. 3rd tape to me. Rough. Oh well. That's it, Puck. Them's my notes. All things you said, all at once. Okay. Okay, I really haven't thought out my thoughts here, but I'll give you a few. I'm sending you and Mother and Dad a March 71 roster of officers on Hancock and a current Raiders Digest and a familygram from Captain Johnson. And that's really all. Oh, hey, I thoroughly enjoyed that picture you sent of me in the pool. That did make me homesick, and if that was your intent, why, it was very effective. And we'll all be homesick together. Well, we finished up the last line period, as you know. 32 days on the line. I flew 100 hours in that 32 days. 99 or 98. At about 50 or so more combat missions. And when it was over, everybody was happy because it was getting old there for a while. Then we went into QB Point from the 11th to the 16th. Everybody flew off on the 10th, and I stayed aboard to do some paperwork, which all executive officers are faced with every now and then. We went in there and stayed there from the 11th to the 16th. Skipper and I rented a special services car, which greatly facilitated our getting around base, which theretofore had always been done by the little base taxi cab, Blaylock, Texas. So it was a pretty good import period. We had a squadron all-hands party on the 15th, the day before we sailed. And the rest of the time was spent relaxing or doing work, catching up, and stuff we hadn't done during the previous long line period. We got underway the 16th at 9 o'clock in the morning, minus one troop who couldn't quite make it back from Olongapo City. Steamed for the 17th and started our combat flight schedule on the 18th. And it's now the 23rd, going on the 24th. We will fly tomorrow, the 24th, and then also Sunday, the 25th. And then on Monday, the 26th, will be a stand-down day where we won't fly. Then commencing the 27th, we will fly, and we'll fly until the 3rd, I think it is, of May. I can't ever keep it straight. Is it the 3rd of May or the 2nd of May? I think the 3rd of May is our last day that's on the line. Then we turn around and transit during the 4th and end up in the 5th and arrive at QB Point, where we stay through the 6th, I think, and get underway the 7th. And head for bloody old Australia, where we arrive, I believe, the 16th of May. Stay until the 20th of May. Get underway and come into Pearl Harbor on the 24th of May. Stay a day or something and offload something or other. Get underway the 25th, I guess, and arrive at Alameda on the 2nd of June. Though the ship will arrive on the 2nd of June, I imagine the air wing will fly off on the 1st. And that means I'll fly off on the 1st and we'll arrive in Lemoore. And I felt sorry for you last time in QB and went down and got a tuner thing, FM, AM, FM stereo tuner job or do, and a couple of speakers, which are currently riding out the cruise in Nels Larson's room, thanks to his kind courtesy of providing me some space there where I have none myself. These things, however, present a problem. Not only were they costly, but they were also bulky and must be returned to our Courtner Street address by us, because I'm very much afraid that if I were to put them in the offload group of things that they would never make it safely. That means that you and I are going to have to come up to Alameda to offload them off the ship unless I can put them in someone else's car or trailer or something, which I don't have any great hope of doing. And that sort of thing can probably be done just about any time. But it is going to mean soon after our arrival there that we will have to come up to the ship and pick them up, which is going to be an expensive trip, time-consuming, and a bore. So I don't know if it was such a good idea or not to do that. But I did it anyway. So you should at least have a good FM and stereo sound system. These speakers are 80-watt speakers, and they've got 5 little. They got a 15-inch woofer and a something or other tweeter and a something mid-range and 2 something or others. I don't know what the heck it's all about. And the FM AM thing is the best that Sansui makes, having great capacities to handle 4 tape recorders or something or other, which we'll never do with it. But I figured that that would be one way to solve the music problem around the house. The dishes are a greater problem because Fukagawa, or whatever it was that had the Royal Garden, which you liked, is not handled in Cuba, only in Yokosuka, which we aren't at anymore. I looked for it in Hong Kong, as I mentioned, and though there was a Fukagawa rep in the China Fleet Club, they didn't have that in stock, and it would take 3 weeks to order or something, which is typical of what you run into here. What I'm getting at, basically, is that there are things that I can get at QE, which I will do next time in. But all of them are so dumb. About all we can say for them is that if I buy 3 sets of them, or maybe 2 sets of them, we'll have 24 or 36, depending upon what I get, of the same thing. If that's important. And then you can turn around if you want to and use what we currently have for good china as every day. Excuse me, when you decide to have a blast or something, well, you'll have enough dishes of the same kind to go around. But I don't know whether that's a wise way to spend $150 or not, frankly. QB does have Noritake and Mitsugushi, or thing that began with an M. But if you don't buy what they have on the shelves, well, you can't get it for 3 months. So I'll probably, next time I go in, if I have any money left, which I don't have right now, I'll probably get something, provided I can find a place to store it on board ship. Now that we're committed to come up and get this hi-fi junk, why, you might as well come up and get the dishes too. Paradots are non-existent. As I told you in China Fleet, in Hong Kong, the guy didn't even know what I was talking about. Said it was a artificially manufactured stone as opposed to a natural one. And he had something else listed as a birthstone for August. Since that time in QB, I've looked around and seen how do I say, the fact that paradots are listed for August, but they don't have any paradots. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Okay. Tape. We got a little bit left. The squadron. The rumors, of course, fly all the time, and right now the rumors are at a low ebb rather than a high ebb. Whereas about a month or two ago we had all had high hopes about what was going to happen. Now we are turned into having low hopes as to what's going to happen. So since things have changed so much, I've just sort of ignored the whole thing. And I frankly don't have any idea what the devil's going to happen. If I were to cast a bet right now, being the eternal pessimist I am, I would say we're going to decommission after 30 June. That is, with the new fiscal year starting 1 July. And 55 would decommission too. And that would be that. 164 is out here, we think, definitely going to decommission now. They've received a message telling them to transfer their airplanes to the Marines when we get back. And that goes along with what Tom Frank was saying. But we still haven't seen anything on 212 or 55, nor have we really seen anything about the employment of old Hancock next year. Nobody seems to know anything. Even people come out from Navarre Pack, which is the big boss down in San Diego, and they don't know anything. Herb Kinney might know something if you ever got to talk with him. Well. The A-113 lost another airplane, in addition to Creed, about 3 or 4 days ago. Friedman, or I don't know what the guy's name, another lieutenant anyway from that outfit. That's that Ham Bing outfit. Area was Strite and Bing, now it's Bing and Dick Grant. And this guy got shut down over there, and he stayed overnight on the ground, was picked up the next day, however, which was a happier ending than the Bart Creed incident, which I haven't heard any more about. When we get back, we're going to lose. For sure. Bart Creed incident, which I haven't heard any more about. When we get back, we're going to lose, for sure, 5 officers. They will be Broderick,